The Azurite Dawn was supposed to be quiet that night. Most of the crew were off-duty, scattered around the recreation hall celebrating another successful cargo run. Music hummed through the decks, strange human rhythms that confused the ship's audio sensors. And in the center of it all was crewman Liam Graves, red-faced, laughing, and raising a small glass of amber liquid. He shouted something about one last shot, tossed the liquid down his throat, and immediately went pale. The laughter stopped as he staggered sideways, hitting the table with a crash. His translator badge blinked red. Within seconds, the medical team was there. Dr. Cyrix, the crystalline chief medic, hovered above Liam's limp form, scanning with a dozen spectral beams. The results flashed across the med console. Ethanol toxicity, acetaldehyde buildup, systemic dehydration, neural interference. Cyrix froze. Captain, the human has been exposed to a Class-5 toxin. The bridge went silent. Class-5 toxins were restricted weapons in most of the galaxy, substances that could dissolve cell membranes and ignite atmospheres. The captain ordered a full quarantine, alarms echoing down the corridors. Liam groaned, opening one bleary eye. What's the panic? Just need a nap. Cyrix blinked in crystalline confusion. He should be in organ failure. Instead, Liam sat up, rubbed his eyes, and mumbled, "Anyone got lime and salt?" Every alien in the room stepped back as though he'd asked for antimatter. Cyrix recorded the event in the ship's medical log with cold precision. Subject: human, designation Graves, L. Diagnosis: exposure to Class-5 toxin, self-administered. Result: subject laughing. Vital signs stable. By the end of the shift, one truth rippled through the Azurite Dawn. Humans didn't just survive poison. They drank it for fun. The following morning, the Azurite Dawn's medical bay was sealed under level 5 containment. Dr. Cyrix stood before a floating stasis field, inside which rested the culprit, a half-empty glass bottle with bold Terran markings. Tequila, 40% ALC/volume. Cyrix's crystalline fingers trembled as they activated the analysis sequence. The results horrified them. The liquid was corrosive to 90% of known biomaterials, highly flammable, and produced neurodegenerative effects in nearly every species. A single milliliter could kill a Vorcan, liquefy a Thale symbiote, and cause seizures in a flare and hive mind. "This isn't a beverage," Cyrix muttered. "It's a bioweapon." The captain entered, voice stern. "Report. Confirm Class-5 toxin," Cyrix said, projecting the chemical structure. "Contains ethanol, a molecular solvent that denatures proteins. No known antidote. And humans drink this?" "Voluntarily," Cyrix replied, tone tinged with disbelief. At that moment, Liam appeared in the doorway, clutching his head and squinting at the lights. "Morning, document. You got anything for hangovers?" Cyrix recoiled. "You seek more exposure to the toxin?" Liam frowned. "Toxin? That's tequila, mate. You have it with lime, not fear." The captain exchanged a look with the medic. "Explain." "It's a party drink," Liam said slowly. "You don't die from it. Well, not usually. You just feel brave, stupid, and regretful all at once. It's tradition." Cyrix recorded the explanation with growing disbelief. Humans consume chemical neurotoxins as ritual bonding exercises. Liam grinned weakly. "You got it. It's how we make friends." Cyrix turned to the captain, voice sharp. "Permission to classify human social behavior as a medical anomaly." The captain sighed. "Granted," and thus began the galaxy's first official investigation into why humans smiled while drinking poison. Liam sat under the harsh white lights of the Azurite Dawn's conference chamber, a cup of water trembling in his hands. Across from him sat 3 alien officers. Captain Rylix, composed but wary, Dr. Cyrix, crystalline and cold, and Lieutenant Var, a reptilian security chief whose scales flared red when never confused, which was often when dealing with humans. Rylix began. "Crewman Graves, confirm this substance you call tequila is not a weapon." Liam sighed. "It's not a weapon, Captain. It's a beverage. From agave plants. We distill it, bottle it, then drink it during celebrations. Cyrix's optics gleamed. You distill agricultural biomass into corrosive solvent for amusement? Pretty much, Liam admitted. But he said softly. And what is the desired effect? Liam hesitated, searching for the right words. You get relaxed. Laugh more. Worry less. Sometimes you sing. Sometimes you fall over. It's a social thing. The three aliens exchanged a look of collective horror. Cyrix tapped a datapad. Symptoms include dizziness, nausea, memory loss, and potential brain damage. You call this recreation? Liam chuckled weakly. Yeah, but we don't think of it like that. It's how humans let go. You would understand until you've had one. Var leaned forward. So humans willingly impair their neural stability to achieve emotional connection? Exactly. Rylix rubbed their temples. Incredible. A species that bonds through slow poisoning. Liam raised his hands in mock surrender. Hey, it works. After a long silence, the captain spoke. Effective immediately, all ethanol-based human fluids are to be contained. Crewman Graves, you are forbidden from distributing this tequila. Liam smirked, trying not to laugh. Understood, sir. He left the room knowing one thing for sure. No alien in the galaxy would ever survive a human weekend. The quarantine around the tequila bottle remained, but curiosity burned brighter than any warning light. Dr. Cyrix, ever the scientist, couldn't stop thinking about the substance that humans drank for pleasure, yet every medical chart declared lethal. Late into the ship's artificial night cycle, Cyrix entered the restricted lab, glass panels glinting in the dim blue light. The tequila sat inside a stasis field, swirling lazily. With careful precision, Cyrix extracted a microdroplet and placed it onto a slide. Instantly, the sample of phthale tissue liquefied. The Vorcan enzyme sample combusted. The Flarin spores screamed in psychic distress before turning to ash. Cyrix froze, recording everything. Confirmed, ethanol-based liquid possesses universal cytotoxicity. Then came the unexpected line in the log. Human cell culture remained stable, dopamine activity increased. The scientists tilted their crystalline head. It makes humans happy. The lab door hissed open. Liam leaned against the frame, holding a mug of coffee. Told you not to mess with that stuff? Document. Cyrix turned sharply. How do you survive contact with this chemical? It destroys everything else. Liam shrugged. Practice. Also liver enzymes. Liver enzymes? Cyrix repeated, fascinated. Yep, our built-in detox filters. Evolution's little gift for surviving bad decisions. He grinned. You don't study tequila, document. You survive it. Cyrix stared at the human, recalculating every assumption about Terran biology. A species that turned poison into pleasure and survived to tell the story. As Liam left the lab, Cyrix murmured into the recorder. Hypothesis: human resilience may not stem from strength, but from an unparalleled capacity to adapt to danger and laugh while doing so. The tequila gleamed faintly in its vial, as if in agreement. The Azurite Dawn's next mission brought them to the Vorton Embassy Station, where diplomatic reception was underway. Dozens of species gathered in glittering uniforms beneath a dome of starlight. Captain Rylix wanted everything perfect. No surprises, no incidents. Unfortunately, Liam Graves had brought a bottle. Relax, he whispered to Dr. Cyrix as they stepped into the banquet hall. It's just a friendly gesture. A little Terran hospitality. Cyrix's crystalline edges rattled nervously. Human hospitality involves poison. It's called a gift. Liam smiled and presented the polished bottle of tequila to the towering Vorton ambassador, whose 4 eyes blinked curiously. What is this substance? The ambassador asked. Tequila, Liam said proudly. A drink from Earth. Strong stuff, warms the soul. Moments later, the ambassador passed the bottle to his engineers, assuming it was a form of Terran starship fuel. Within minutes, they poured the golden liquid into their generator tank. The explosion was impressive. Blue fire erupted from the lower decks, alarms wailed, and every diplomat scrambled for cover. The generator survived, but the station's power grid didn't. When the smoke cleared, The smell of burned circuits and lime filled the air. Cyrix stared at Liam in horror. "You've committed interstellar sabotage with a party beverage." Liam coughed through the smoke. "I said it was strong." Hours later, the Galactic Concord issued an urgent directive. Effective immediately, all ethanol-based human fluids are to be reclassified as controlled hazardous materials. Across the fleet, humans roared with laughter. To them, it was official confirmation of what they'd always known. Their drinks were dangerous, their livers were legendary, and their reputation among the stars had just gone galactic. Weeks after the Tequila incident, the Azurite Dawn had mostly returned to order, officially anyway. Unofficially, a new rumor spread through the lower decks. Whispers of a hidden spot where humans and a few daring aliens gathered after duty hours. It was called the Toxin Bar. Tucked inside an unused cargo bay on Deck 9, the place was dimly lit, patched together from spare panels and glowing crates. The air shimmered faintly with the smell of ethanol and citrus. Behind a makeshift counter, Liam Graves polished a glass with a grin that said he knew exactly how much trouble he was in. Cyrix found it by accident. Following irregular energy readings, the doctor stepped inside and froze. Dozens of crew members were there, laughing, talking, clinking glasses. A Flaren engineer was attempting to sip a thimble of diluted tequila through a rebreather. The alien's body flickered with bioluminescent pulses. "I see everything," it whispered. "The stars are singing." Liam patted it on the back. "First shot. Not bad." Cyrix could barely process the scene. "This is a containment breach," they hissed. Liam shrugged. "It's cultural exchange. We're teaching them moderation, human style." Before Cyrix could respond, a Vorcan diplomat raised a glass and declared, "To humanity, the only species insane enough to find joy in molecular decay." Laughter erupted, echoing through the bay. Even Cyrix, against better judgment, felt something curious stir. A strange warmth, not from alcohol, but from the unity in the air. Perhaps, the doctor thought, madness and connection are not so different after all. From that night forward, the Toxin Bar became the ship's worst-kept secret, a place where the galaxy learned to laugh, one forbidden drink at a time. The Azurite Dawn's captain discovered the Toxin Bar 3 weeks later. A cleaning drone had accidentally recorded a chorus of drunken alien singing echoing through Deck 9, proof enough that the humans were still up to their toxic rituals. By morning, security sealed the bay. The captain summoned Liam and Dr. Cyrix to her office, voice tight with fury. "You've turned my ship into a biohazard lounge." Liam tried to look innocent. "Technically, it's a morale-boosting facility." Cyrix's crystalline form flickered with embarrassment. "Captain, I assure you, it was purely for research and limited bonding observation." "Research?" Rylix barked. "Into what?" "Mutual self-destruction." They were ordered to destroy all remaining tequila. But of course, Liam had one last bottle. He winked at Cyrix later that night. "We can't just pour it out. It's history." Reluctantly, the doctor agreed to hide it. They placed the bottle in a cryo-freezer, labeling it reactive coolant sample #34. Be safe. Forgotten. Until the next power failure. When the ship's main reactor cycled down for maintenance, the freezer lost containment. The tequila bottle cracked, leaking its contents into the coolant line. Within hours, faint traces of ethanol vaporized into the ventilation system, and the entire crew began to feel oddly cheerful. On the bridge, Rylix frowned. "Why is everyone laughing?" The navigation officer giggled uncontrollably. "I feel wonderful, Captain." Cyrix checked environmental readings. Atmospheric contamination detected. Class-5 toxin dispersion at 1 part per billion. Liam leaned back in his chair, smirking. So, basically, happy hour. By the time systems were restored, the Azurite Dawn had broken 3 diplomatic encryption codes, written a ship-wide song, and unanimously voted to name the next shuttle the hangover. The Azurite Dawn was recalled to the Galactic Council Station, orbiting the twin suns of Delver Prime. The crew stood accused of negligent atmospheric contamination and distribution of unregistered biochemical agents. In other words, someone had gotten the entire ship tipsy. Liam sat at the defendant's table beside Captain Rylix, who looked like she was calculating how many ways she could strangle him before the trial ended. Across the hall, hundreds of alien delegates filled the chamber, glittering scales, fur, and tentacles shifting under the golden light. Counselor Trin, a being of gaseous form, addressed the court. "Human Graves, is it true you introduced a Class-5 toxin into a galactic vessel?" Liam leaned toward the mic. "Technically, I introduced Tequila. The toxin part depends on your attitude." A horrified murmur spread through the chamber. Dr. Cyrix stepped forward, datapad in hand. "If I may clarify, tests show that while ethanol is lethal to most known life, it appears to enhance human social bonding and emotional regulation." Counselor Trin's vaporous tendrils quivered. "You are telling us humans depend on poison to function socially?" "Not depend," Liam said with a grin. "Just celebrate with it." A Vorton ambassador, one of those present during the earlier explosion, cleared his throat. "I, too, have sampled this tequila. I experienced visions of pure light and heard the heartbeat of the cosmos. It was magnificent." The chamber fell silent. After a long deliberation, the council chair spoke. "The use of ethanol is now permitted under regulated cultural circumstances. Humans may retain their rituals." Liam turned to Cyrix, whispering, "See? Progress." Cyrix muttered dryly, "Progress smells like lime." The galaxy had just legalized humanity's strangest superpower, celebration through chaos. Months after the hearing, the galaxy was different. What began as scandal had become a symbol of connection. Across dozens of stations, human-style lounges appeared, each serving carefully diluted, species-safe versions of tequila. The Galactic Concord called it controlled cultural exchange. Humans simply called it Friday night. On the Azurite Dawn, Cargo Bay 9 had been transformed from its secret bar into an official recreation space. Neon lights shimmered across banners reading, "The Toxin Bar, now council approved." Dr. Cyrix stood at the counter, observing as a Flaren engineer sipped a weak margarita. "Fascinating," Cyrix murmured. "At this dilution, the dopamine response remains measurable. No neural collapse detected." Liam grinned, pouring another drink. "Told you, document. It's not about the drink. It's about the people you share it with." The captain arrived, reluctantly smiling. "I never thought I'd see the day this madness became policy." "Diplomacy through chemistry," Liam said, raising a glass. "One molecule at a time." That evening, ambassadors from 6 worlds clinked glasses together for the first time in galactic history. Conversations flowed easier, laughter spread faster, and for a fleeting moment, no one cared about species or borders. Dr. Cyrix later presented a paper titled, "The Paradox of Poison, Human Adaptation and the Neurochemical Basis of Unity." It concluded, "Perhaps peace was never found in purity, but in shared imperfection." As the celebration reached its peak, Liam stood on a crate, glass held high. "To the universe," he declared, "may it always spin just a little crooked." Dozens of voices echoed the toast, human and alien alike. And as starlight glimmered through the viewport, it seemed the galaxy finally understood. Sometimes it takes a little poison to bring everyone together.